whole plane's full apart from one seat between me and this girl, Sybil, who's now my wife. And then we just got talking. She asked me what I'm doing in Melbourne. I said I'm going to see my brother. Didn't talk about what the treatment. And then I asked her, what do you do? Where are you based? She's from Switzerland. Turns out she's a cancer nurse, an oncology nurse. Told her about my treatment, what I'm doing. She hadn't heard of it. So I said to her, I say this as my pickup line. Do you want to come and check it out? You want to come and see some cancer treatment?
Smooth.
Yeah, real smooth.
Hello and welcome to the 10 Million in 10 Years podcast. I'm David, your host, and I am joined by a very special guest today, Josh Komen, author, speaker, all-round legend, podcast veteran. Welcome along, Josh.
Nice introduction, David. Thank you very much. How are you today?
Thank you. Yeah, really good, thanks. Yeah, great to be on the coast. This is a first. We're on the coast, which is first out of town, out of Christchurch episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Venturing outside the comfort area. Where'd you have breakfast this morning?
Back to the motherland. I had breakfast at 7 Penny.
Yeah,
Shout
nice
out
one.
to 7 Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just talking coffee actually before. We've got our favourites over here, don't we?
Yeah, I enjoy a coffee from DP1.
Yeah, DP1's great. That's where the books were procured from.
Yeah.
Your book.
Oh, yeah. You bought them there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them signed.
Got to sign 2 more for you.
How come you signed one but not the others?
I don't know. My dad, that's his kind of gig.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of grabs books from home. Some might be signed, some might not be signed.
Yeah, right.
And he'll stock them up at DP1. So that's his thing. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That's Dad's thing.
How many do you go through? Roughly.
It varies. It really varies. It depends when you've done a podcast. Some might buy them through your website. I've got some on Amazon. I mean, they don't sell too well there, but they're there. But DP1 and out Kamara Junction, down the homeland, people passing through. No, they do sell pretty well there.
Yeah, nice, nice. When did you write it?
I think around 2019.
Yeah.
2017, 2018 was when I started to write it. Published around 2019, end of 2019.
How was that process of going from the idea of writing a book to, I've got no idea how you'd even start.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I was in Melbourne getting treatment at the time, and I had several heart attacks and things, and I wasn't in a good place, and I didn't know how long I had on this planet, so I thought I'd write something down for my nieces and nephews, my sister's kids. So I didn't have kids at the time, wasn't even thinking about that really, and I just started writing, and I wrote about 70 to 80,000 words in this complete mess, and it was a constructed kind of chronological timeline from when I was born, so my nieces and nephews could understand who I was and where I'd been. And then I thought, well, I might do something with this. So I emailed all the big publishers around New Zealand and Australia, and I always got down to the board meeting where they were going to discuss whether this book's going to be financially viable. But Jake Bailey wrote a book at the time, and his kind of was taking precedent there, and they thought, oh no, I'm going to push his. It got there, so I thought, well, I've got to do this by myself now. And I approached Mary Egan, publishing outfit up in Auckland. They're an independent publishing, so had to publish it myself, and they helped me out with an editor who kind of structured it. Her name was Jane Bizzle. Got it all done, and we come up with the product we have now, which was really cool.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. I met him recently. Well, not recently, but
ish.
Jake Bailey.
Yeah. Lovely guy.
He seems like an amazing guy.
He really is. Yeah. We've sat down and had a few conversations, but really nice guy, and he's been through the mill and come out better on the other end.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Was that around a similar time to when you were going through your treatment? Yeah,
so my treatment process was about 11 years, and during that period when I was in Melbourne getting treatment for 5 years, I think he went through his ordeal, and he made that tremendous speech. It went viral, and his name got out there. But yeah, remarkable guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For the listeners and the viewers, I know the backstory. I've read the book. I know you a little bit. I'm lucky to have met you. But how do you summarize your story in a few minutes?
It's so hard. Because it was so long, and there was so much that went into that 11-year period. But I think in a few words, in a sentence, it's kind of adopting resilience, mental resilience, holding on to hope, holding on to love, important people in your life, finding faith, and holding on to that faith, and it's probably, just not letting go and that holding on to that light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's a cliche, but it's so true. And if we hold on to it with all these good things that we see in life, despite the pain that we're going through, for me, that's what I kind of had to do. There was no magic bullet, man.
No.
And I'm trying all these holistic things, but the one thing that held me together was my family and my faith.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was, going into this, I was contemplating how to structure it, but ultimately, your story is everywhere. It's very easy to see on the website. It's very easy to consume. So I just don't think there's that much need to spend much time on that.
Yep.
And it's not to disrespect it at all, because it's just a mega journey. And I guess one thing that is curious to me is the cold immersion and how that entered into your life. Because was that toward the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when I was in Melbourne, where I really adopted cold exposure and breathing and mindfulness practices, where I really embraced it, but more so understanding the science behind it and what it was doing for me. I was probably doing it through my journey, not the cold exposure stuff, but the meditation, the breathing and stuff like that unconsciously when I was going through immense pain. Yeah. And that was those little cues kind of helped me through those tough times as well. But yeah, there's so much to unpack in the story, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I had my brother over in Christmas, and he's telling me stories that I completely forgot about, and you think, fuck, did I really go through that, How am I still here, hearing it from other people? Because you do put it aside and I go, oh, it wasn't that bad, but when you look at it from another person's perspective and hearing what they had to say, it's like, far out. Was it really that bad? Like, my brother was coming around to Melbourne, pulling me out of bed because I didn't want to get out of bed. My body was locking up for days and I couldn't walk. I couldn't even barely eat. My partner was saying when she first met me that she was about to leave. She was this close to leaving because she hadn't seen someone so sick before. And it's like, wow, was that really happening? But you were only focusing on that internal pain and trying to manage that. And those important people that I just touched on really helped me come forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, isn't it, with life, like taking perspective of the past and where you've come from. But for me anyway, it's like more about the future and what's next, appreciating the moment, which again is super cliche, and it is cliche for a reason though. I think it's because it's important to appreciate these moments,
Sure, that's
like
all
this, it's
yeah,
great.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so all we
grateful.
have, and it's absolutely great. We live in the future, we set goals 100%, but we've got a past too that we have to recognize, that makes us who we are, that shaped us. We've got that embedded in our nervous system, but as you said, we've got the present moment, and we never know what's going to happen after this conversation. We don't know.
That's it.
But we live in the present, we focus on the future, but we have to acknowledge the now. It's so important, because we forget about that, whether in the past or in the future.
Yes.
And not focusing on what's now.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to sit down and have a conversation with you, man.
Absolutely. No, for sure. And I appreciate your willingness to do this. I don't know about the other podcasts you've been on and how structured they were. This one's pretty loose. This one's pretty unstructured. It's a conversation.
Nice.
I think we've got shared interests, and it's just a go with the flow kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how we know each other, we're both from the West Coast. We're both, you're born here, weren't you?
I was born here.
Born
and raised, yeah.
You're actual coaster then.
You went to Grey High?
I did not go to Grey High.
Okay.
I went to Kororo.
Yes.
And then intermediate.
Kororo School, that's home of Paul Cole.
Paul Cole? Who's that?
You don't know Paul Cole?
No.
He's former world #1 squash champ. He's won the US Open.
Oh, yeah. I saw
the
that
British Open.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
Kororo schoolboy.
Wow. How old is he?
He would be 34.
Yeah, right.
34, 33.
Wow.
Sorry, Paul, if I've got that wrong.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. He's lit the squash world on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
I think he's currently number 3 or 4.
Yes.
But he was world #1 for a few months last year. For a while, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
They call him Superman.
Really?
His if you look him up on Instagram, his workouts are incredible. Like, he's doing the splits on the squash court, running back and returning the ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
And does he live here still?
No, he doesn't. He's been home over Christmas, but he comes back for Christmas. But I think he's based in Holland, where he does his training.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you don't know Paul Cole, give him a follow, man. He's done wonders for New Zealand sport, and especially New Zealand squash, what he's achieved coming from the coast as well.
There's some incredible coasters out there.
Jeepers, yeah.
Like I went to school in Christchurch, high school in Christchurch, and that was the thing back then was like, because Mum was at the school and she didn't really want me to go to the school she was teaching at.
Yeah, your mum's a lovely lady.
She was.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. And, a lot of the people that I went to intermediate with and Karora with, they continued on down either John Paul or Grey High, and they've done exceptionally well, a lot of them. So it's really cool,
Yeah, the coast instills some very good values.
I think
it really
so.
Does, the hard-working ethos, pull your socks up and get into it.
A bit more of that old school methodology, yeah. I wonder if that's still like that now with the younger generations here.
Yeah, I think it's still around for sure. The parents, the generation of parents kind of still set their hard-working values. And, if you're into sport especially, you got to go outside in the rain and play on that boggy field.
That's it.
If you're not, you're not playing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it may have changed to a degree, especially with the technology, and it's more comfortable to stay at home and play on your PlayStation or message your mate on your iPhone. But when I grew up, every kid was out there doing something in the bush, playing sport. And, the coast, as you know, is a hard-working town with its cold, its gold, its fishing, the forestry. Everyone's outside working, and it is a hard-working town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like living here? Are there any, what don't you like?
What don't I like? I think for me, my wife, she's from Switzerland, so she's used to coming from a city and having more access to shops and facilities and, the Swiss engineering, they're pretty precise and on time, and it's very nice and tidy and clean.
Yes.
So in that sense, I think we really miss our Swiss home. My daughter's Swiss home, so they're going there this year for 5 months.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's probably something we miss, is Sybil's family being so far away. But the coast, in essence, is home for us right now. It provides a lot of opportunities, provides simplicity. And Sybil works at the hospital, which is only a stone throw away. So everything's quite easy and accessible for us. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even coming here this morning, right? Look at the watch and it's, I better get going. Yeah, a minute and a half later, I'm here, right?
Yeah.
It's so good.
You could pick up a coffee on the way and still be here
Pretty
in under
much.
5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my long-term friend, Hadley Mills, who I think you have met maybe once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been back living here and Brisbane. So it's been quite interesting getting his insight into.
Yeah. And what's his perspective? Was he in Brisbane?
He is now.
Yeah.
Potentially will move back at some point, but just that exactly what you say, when he's relatively used to it, but his partner, wife, maybe hasn't got that same heritage or upbringing.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people within the community, so I've got a lot of good connections, and there's some wonderful people in this town that really have helped me out a lot going through what I've been through.
Yeah.
Really authentic, genuine, quintessential, good people.
Yeah.
And I cannot deny the importance of these people in this town that have helped me go through what I've got through. And maybe I wouldn't have got that support in a bigger city because the community's so close and connected.
Yeah, I do wonder about that. I wonder, even outside of the coast, when I run into someone and I don't know, it's like you can almost feel this coast DNA. Like even that video editor, Toby.
Yes.
So it turns out he's from the coast.
No way.
You
What's
know?
his last name?
I'd have
That's
to
okay.
check.
It's okay.
I don't recall, but he's from Reefton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The town of light.
The town of light, exactly.
The first place in the southern hemisphere to have electricity on the grid.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah. Reefton.
It's a cute little town, isn't
It's
it?
beautiful. Yeah, they've done a lot of work there. A lot
Yeah.
of investment been in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you experienced with the speaking that you've done, the events?
Yeah, good
Because
question.
you've done a fair few now.
I've done a few. I wouldn't say I've done a fair few, but I've done a few, and it's something completely new to me. And it's a space I've stepped into. My first talk was for the Rotary Club here in Greymouth, and I literally read off a piece of paper, and I was shaking. The next talk I did after that, I shat myself at a school talk. Literally, I was not feeling good that day.
I shouldn't laugh.
No, you got to laugh, man. You got to laugh at these things. You have to look back and see where you've been. It's something that makes me extremely uncomfortable, especially talking about my story, because there's so much that was involved and so much that occurred, and there's so much new stuff that pops up, and I do get quite emotional when I talk about it. I really do. But I felt extremely vulnerable, extremely uncomfortable doing it. But here's a big but: people were getting value of what I was saying. I was getting emails saying, thank you for sharing that specific thing. I was feeling this specific way. Now I'm feeling a whole heap better. Thank you. And for me, I think everybody's got an individual purpose in this life. And for me, it's sharing my story and the tools that I've adopted to help myself. And if that can help someone get out of their bed for the day and find something meaningful, then my suffering's, been meaningful for me. It's served a purpose. So in that aspect, yes, I'm learning a lot, the craft of speaking in front of people. But if people are getting something out of it, resonating with something small, not everyone has to, but someone out there is, and I know they have. I get some profound messages sometimes, and people share some harrowing things with me, what they've gone through. Some of them been worse than me, and I think what a privilege it is to be in that space, that someone's sharing something so vulnerable with you. And I've opened up that space for a conversation, and they can identify what's going on and take responsibility for themselves as well.
Yeah, the power of a conversation is immense. It's something that perhaps is getting lost in some way, with the advent of technology, and perhaps that's something that is there's value in bringing that back. And I think like the more conversations like this and like what you do, it all helps.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I watched a little clip with Denzel Washington today. He's one of my favourite actors. I really like this man. And he said, we all want to be liked. Back in the day, we want to be liked by our mates. But now we want to be liked by 16 million people. Instant gratification. Hit that like button. But this, how we're having a conversation, I'm looking at you, I'm understanding who you are, where you've been. We had a small conversation prior to this interview. And that's connection.
Totally.
That's connection right there, and that's down regulation. That makes us feel safe.
Yeah.
And that's where it all starts.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I've noticed since decreasing my time on social media. Yeah. It's been a huge weight off my shoulders.
How do you find that, man? I mean, you're in the business game and everyone's consuming information and understanding where people are and what they're offering. It must be a real balance there. Because that's something that I find very tough with what I'm doing, marketing myself and that. But I have a love-hate relationship with social media because I don't want to be spending so much time on it, making videos, making content. However, I want to spend more time with my daughter, with my family. It's a real balance there. How do you do that?
I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. That's the answer, right? I don't have it nailed, but I feel that I am on the journey to consciously be working to become better. And one thing I've done recently is just to delete the app off the phone. I still use the desktop version.
Yeah. Do you know Conrad Goodhue?
I follow him.
So he does the same.
Right.
He does exactly the same. Yeah, deletes the app and then reinstalls it, makes a few and then deletes it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to work.
Yeah.
I love the connection element of it though. So I do love the fact that you can interact and meet new people on there. So I think there's value on it. It's just how do you control it and make it work for you, not it controlling you, which is at the end of the day, there's so much resourcing into so many resources being spent to keep you on the platform. So I think you've just got to be mindful with it and try and figure out a strategy that works for you.
Sorry, it was Jack Goodhue, not Conrad.
Jack Goodhue.
Yeah.
Conrad Goodhue is a dude though, right?
He is.
He's the nutritionist.
He's the nutritionist, and I got them mixed up.
And is Jack Goodhue, he's the rugby player.
He's a rugby player.
Yeah.
He's playing in France. Sorry.
They must be related.
Not too sure. Don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Fact check that one.
But I had a conversation with Jack when I did a talk for the Crusaders.
Right.
And then he did a podcast, heard the fact that he was deleting the app. So yeah, it is.
Funny story. So I did a trade with a guy, Blair, from Williamscourt. He gave me a book that was signed by a guy that I didn't know who signed it.
Oh yeah.
And another podcast guest, Zach Gallagher, who's a Crusader, he helped me identify that it was indeed Jack Goodhue.
Oh right.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny that you bring that up.
Oh wow.
Do you believe in serendipity?
I do. Yeah. Absolutely, I do.
Pretty weird, right?
Yeah, that's how I met my wife, with serendipitous, I think. Meant to be.
Was it on the plane?
Yeah, it was on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it serendipitous then?
Just the girl who sat next to me. Well, we're on the plane. I'm flying back and forth for treatment in Melbourne, flying from Christchurch to Melbourne. and the whole plane's full. And I've had a correlation with number 7, where we're sitting in row 21. The whole plane's full apart from one seat between me and this girl, Sybil, who's now my wife. And then we just got talking. She asked me what I'm doing in Melbourne. I said I'm going to see my brother. Didn't talk about what the treatment. And then I asked her, what do you do? Where are you based? She's from Switzerland. Turns out she's a cancer nurse, an oncology nurse. Told her about my treatment, what I'm doing. She hadn't heard of it. So I said to her, I say this as my pickup line. Do you want to come and check it out? You want to come and see some cancer treatment?
Smooth.
Yeah, real smooth. And she's travelling over there. She's doing a yoga retreat and backpacking around and doing you can only choose your attitude and your attitude around that. Yeah, I think that's one thing that we can do, and I'm a big fan of stoicism. Essentially, people think stoicism is not being in touch with your feelings, but you have to be really in touch with your feelings to understand the emotional regulation that's going on to make the correct call. And we're not always going to make the correct call, but people say, oh, you're too stoic, you're hard. No. If you want to be stoic, you have to go inside yourself internally to understand the emotions that are popping up when something external occurs. So I really like Ryan Holiday's books. Love them. Great reads. I highly recommend them. But you have to be really in touch with your emotions to be a so-called stoic person.
Yeah, I like that saying or that fable, or just the sentiment, right? That it's not good or bad, it just is.
Yeah.
Or that story about the guy with the horse. His horse runs away.
Yeah, tell us.
And I'm just going to butcher this completely, but here goes anyway, right? So the guy has a horse runs away. Everyone's like, oh, that's so sad. The guy's like, maybe good, maybe bad. Right. He then gets another horse for free or something. And then he breaks his leg. He falls off the horse. And everyone's like, oh, that's so sad. He's like, oh, maybe good, maybe bad. And then war comes, there's a war on, so everyone gets conscribed for the war. But because he's got a broken leg, he misses the war. And then the same thing. Everyone's like, oh, that's so good. And he's like, maybe good, maybe bad. And so anyway, the story just keeps on going and evolving, and it's just that different perspective and interpretation of good or bad. But his thing is neutral, right? It just is.
It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a way more better, concise version of that story. But, you get the gist.
Yeah. Good luck, bad luck, who knows?
We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know. We really don't. And as I said earlier, we don't know what's going to happen or unfold after this conversation. Yeah.
I think there's got to be some limitation with that. I don't think there's any way that you could label certain things as either neutral or good. Right?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think what you went through was good.
No, but it has a silver lining underneath it, and that's what we've got to search for, the good within it. I've never ever felt true human compassion and authentic love when I've been suffering so much. I was one of the fastest runners in New Zealand, and people came up and patted me on the back. Well done, congratulations. And that gave me real fulfillment. However, when I was in the hospital fighting for my life, say with trigeminal neuralgia that I had the worst pain known to man when I'm screaming, here's my mum holding my hand with tears down her face saying, I love you. Now that's true love right there. Someone turning up for you when you're on your wit's end. Yeah. So for me, when I saw concerned, worried people walking into that hospital, they were walking in that hospital with authentic love for the individual who was suffering in that situation. But that brings true value and meaning into our life, doesn't it?
That's true.
And you and I have both seen that. I remember your mum, and it may be emotional for both of us. I remember it, in the hospital, I was your celebrant,
Mm-hmm.
and your mum was there, slowly passing away, and all she said was just go and live your life. And look at you, man. You're out there living your life, doing your thing. She'd be immensely proud of you. You know, and that's true love, isn't it? Even though it hurts, you know, we're both getting emotional about the people we love. But that pain that we've occurred, that they're there, the values that they've set us, the fact that they love you unconditionally in those moments, man, that gives true meaning to life.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Yeah, and I guess that's the ultimate sort of, doesn't get much more meaningful than that, is it?
No, I think that's the ultimate meaning, turning up for one another when we're in immense pain, being there for one another, and that's where true humanity comes out, and that's what I've seen through my suffering, and that's why I'm grateful for it. Very, very grateful.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, this beautiful Swiss girl, saw me when I'm in a completely depressed state. You know, my face is pigmented, I've got a lot skinnier. I'm not physically the person that I was before, but she saw me for the inside out.
Yeah, wow.
You know, and she was there for me for really tough times where she could have left, but her human spirit
Wow.
held my hand
Incredible.
and helped me go forward, and that's what we do for one another.
Yeah.
Help each other through those tough times.
Yeah.
Because life's hard and we all think it's easy, you know, we live on the internet a bit and we watch other people doing their cool stuff, but it's only for 5-10 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't get a real understanding of someone's life in that period of time.
No.
We're all going through something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think having gone off it and spending less time on the device, more time in the real world, I think it's both the direct time, the hours spent on there, but it's more about the quality of the
content.
Quality of the conversations in real life. It seems to have improved, not just by a means of hours, but by a means of quality and depth. So it's not to demonize it. Like, I think there's good bits to it, right? Like, there's good bits to social media. Like,
yeah, for sure.
like we've connected through there ultimately, right? Like without it, you know, it's pretty hard to get to contact some people.
It is.
So,
Yeah, I mean, there's always good parts and bad parts to any tool.
but like the
to
story,
any
isn't
device.
it?
It is.
Maybe good, maybe bad.
It's what you choose to consume or
Yeah.
how you use it.
Yes.
It's the choices that that's what we talked about before. The external. We've got the choices, our attitude around a specific thing. That's what's in our control. The external that comes with us, with the phone. Apple, Steve Jobs, make your phone. People are going to do stuff. Good on them.
Yes.
We get the product, we choose how we use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good reminder. Far out, that got pretty heavy, pretty quick.
Yeah, man.
So the other podcast you've been on, tell me about that.
Yeah.
You've been on a couple, like what, 5?
Yeah, I've been on a few. Between two beers with the last one I did. Great guys. Steve and Seamus. Yeah, that was awesome. They definitely do their homework.
Right.
Yeah, they do their research and understand the person from where they've been from day dot to where they are right now. And there was a bit of inside information that they got that I didn't know what was coming.
Right.
And they threw that at me left wing.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you want to listen to that one, you'll get some laughs.
Okay.
Yeah. So doing a few podcasts here and there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that for building an audience, do more speaking?
Oh, I think it was
Do
what
more
I said
events?
before. I mean, after that podcast, people reach out and go, thank you for sharing. This is the situation I was in. And you get these profound emails, and it's sharing a story to help other people go through what they're going through.
Yeah.
And, stories help me.
Yeah.
A lot of stories, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, what he went through in Auschwitz and Dachau. Amazing. Louis Zamborini, what he went through in the Japanese prisoner camps. Incredible what people can go through. And those stories, we speak in stories. And those stories help me go through what I went through. So, yeah. It's not to raise a profile or anything like that. It's just to help someone else going through what they're going through.
I love that.
Yeah. That's the crux of it. And yeah, my profile has grown through that. But the intention, as I said, when I was doing these talks, was the fact that someone reached out to me when I needed to reach out for other people who were coming into my life when I thought about taking my life. Yeah.
Love that. What's the next few years look like for you?
My wife and I, we sat down and set our intentions of what that looks like. This year is just kind of collaborating what I've, with the book and the talks and getting that going, working on the foundation that I've already built and kind of leveraging off that to spread out to a wider audience. Yep. Sybil's going to Switzerland for 5 months. I'm going to go over there for a month come July, August. So she's going to connect Maya back with her Swiss roots where she's from.
Yes.
And after that, well, hopefully I can keep doing these wellness workshops, do one-on-one breathing, coaching, nervous system regulation, stress management stuff, and obviously these talks, and hopefully write another book at some stage.
I was going to ask you about that. I thought I'd heard rumour of a second book, so it's been confirmed.
We've been over the coast for 10 hours and something's already come around. For the benefits of a small town. Josh Komen's writing another book. Yeah. I think I need to write another book. This book was written in a bit of a hurry. I'm happy with it, but at that time I think that I could have done put in a lot more content, done a lot more things with it. But I think number 2 will come out at some stage, but I'm not too sure when, but that will be in the near future.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Have you read the Goggins books?
Yeah, I have.
So I really like the second one. I like how that gives a lot more context around the first book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that that's a similar theory to your second book?
Absolutely. Nailed it on the head. Because this kind of gives you a quick snippet of a story of what I went through. But there's all these little anecdotal stories within that big story that really helped me to be where I am right now. And I can go a bit deeper with the tools that I used to help myself, which people can use for free every day, to help themselves on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love it. It is so funny, serendipity, like how we ran into each other at the sauna recently.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty nuts, right?
Yeah, you just finished a workout. I'm popping over for a nightly sauna.
Yeah.
Meet your new partner.
Yeah.
Lovely lady.
Very nice.
Yeah,
that was good. It's funny with the sauna because I don't think she likes the sauna as much as I like the sauna.
Yeah, she pulled the pin earlier than you.
She got out of there pretty quick.
But you're a big fan of... the sauna's great. Not only you get your health benefits, but it's a real social setting.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the new Greymouth pub. I've met some amazing people there.
Really?
Yeah, amazing people.
Cool.
Funny story. Chuck this story. And I was in the sauna one day and I can speak a bit of German. There was a couple of German backpackers there. And I said, woher kommst du in Deutschland? Where do you come from in Germany? And we got talking and conversing. And they started talking in German, 2 young girls, chatting away. I couldn't understand them because they're talking very fast. And then they look up at me and they said, can we come and stay at your house? And I looked up and I was like, I think I'm going to have to chat to my wife first. Like, what do you mean here? And like, no, we have our camper van. Can we park it at your driveway and things? And I'm like, yeah, I'll check with my wife. But it's quite funny. 2 young girls asking if I can come and stay at my house.
Sauna chat. That's what happens in the sauna.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you meet some interesting people, a lot of travellers, and they've all got some cool story to share.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Awesome.
There's a fella called Joel, and he developed prostate cancer recently, so I've met him for about 2.5 years. And then I saw him down Hokitika the first time ever with his clothes on, because we always catch up in the sauna with our tops on. I said to him, hey man, first time I've had a conversation with you with your clothes on. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's funny what people share when the heat's upon you when you're in a stressful situation.
What's crazy to me is that I spend so much time in the sauna in Christchurch at IHF and have always loved the chats, but thought it might be isolated to that community, to that membership. But coming into the Greymouth one, catching up with you, then that other dude, it was so good. It was the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So as you say, maybe it's the heat, maybe it's the fact that you are unclothed.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's in a vulnerable state, so what else?
Yeah,
just share.
Well, maybe that's it, right? Like you're as you are. Like there's no judgment. There's no.
You see me for who I am physically.
Exactly. Like there's no. You're not in a uniform or you're not wearing certain things, so there's no judgment, it's just...
Correct.
Or maybe there's a lot of judgment. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but for me, what I've found is there's no really judgment. As you say, you've got the uniform off. There's no real titles on your name.
That's exactly it, right? You don't have someone
there's no hierarchy there.
There's no hierarchy. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
So really cool. I don't know if you noticed, but we've got this 100th episode special coming up.
Oh, right.
That was what I was asking you about on the 16th.
Yes, you were.
So we're doing an episode of the podcast in the sauna at
cool.
100 degrees.
How do you think the mics will go with the humidity?
Oh, we've got a different setup.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we've got these heat resistant ones. No, we don't really. They're just like a lapel that I think will handle the heat.
Yeah, cool. But
Yeah.
you're not going to. How long are you going to sit in there for?
100 minutes, but we'll alternate between the plunge. Yeah,
100 minutes continuous in a sauna at 80 degrees.
100.
That's brutal. At 100 degrees.
Yeah,
Jeepers.
should be alright, won't it?
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
You have to. You'll start off with half an hour and then taper it down.
So I think the plunge will be every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, every 10 minutes.
Yeah, and with the 10 guests, we'll just rotate through, and not sure of the exact structure, if everyone will have 10 minutes each, or if it'll just be a free-for-all, or not too sure on the dynamic yet.
How many people do you have involved?
10 people.
You got 10? Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
10
So you
guests.
can do in pairs.
Yeah, we might do it in pairs, or we might do it in groups of, I'm not sure. Yeah.
We'll just
There's a
wing
few
it.
questions.
Real Kiwi style. We just turn up and
Kind
give it a
of,
go.
yeah. But there's a interesting bunch of guests, some previous guests, some
Oh, cool.
different members from the gym, and yeah, should be good.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're just going to take that whole concept of high quality sauna chats, and record it.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great idea because there are some great sauna chats that go on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might actually head in there after this
Oh yeah.
for the Greymouth sauna.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so good, right? Just a drop in.
Yeah, very lucky in Greymouth. It's a really nice sauna there for
Yes.
the price that you pay for the recreation centre. It's value for money for sure. It's a quality sauna.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But IHF, what a place.
It's insane.
Yeah, I went there once after your recommendation.
Yeah.
Great place.
No, that's unsolicited too. They're a sponsor of the podcast. So,
Oh, really?
So if you're going to plug in happy,
I didn't
happy
even
days.
know.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
e- Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we've teamed up to we've
So
both got shared interests, and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it's an awesome place.
Yeah,
And I'm a
absolutely.
big fan of Almighty drink. That's all. I only drink water and coffee, and Almighty's stocked up in our fridge, and you got a free Almighty as you go in.
yeah.
How good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a
But just the
phenomenal
layout and the
space.
set out with the ice baths and the sauna and the gym and the cooking, the eatery place,
Yeah.
where it's really communal.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic design.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying earlier about the community there. That's one. The amazing facilities are one bit, but for me it's the people. It's the chats that you have and the people that you meet.
That's what makes any establishment, isn't it?
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really is unique in that it's such a good alternative to the pub. Like we're talking about ways to socialize and humanity, and this location just allows you to connect with like-minded people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's great for your immune system, your neurological system, your cardiovascular system. You're meeting in a healthy place
yeah,
where everyone's trying to essentially be better.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have great conversations too, as you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We did that immersion workshop about a year or so ago at our studio.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Raj and I?
Raj and
Came
you
along to
yourself
that?
came along.
Yeah.
Yeah. O Studio is a great place too.
It is. Yeah.
Great setup.
So good.
Yeah, Tim's done a wonderful job there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got those on rotation, or is it ad hoc, the workshops there?
It's just when there's space available. And yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Very good. What else is on your mind?
My daughter,
Yeah, how old's she now?
she keeps me awake at night. So if any people out there got any tips for night sleep, do you have any tips? Because you got a wee girl. You had a wee girl.
That phase was a
Now
wee
she's a
while
bit
ago
bigger,
now.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think we nailed that part of the
Yeah, that's
process
tough.
at
Eh?
all.
Yeah.
No. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty bad, is it?
No, it's not too bad. But it does affect you when you got quite a busy life,
Yes.
and that sleep is key.
Oh man, it
Yeah.
absolutely is key,
It's
right?
so key. But yeah, she can wake up a couple of times a night, but then the next day she might sleep right through. So you can never pick it.
No.
But backing up with work and then doing your study, then plus working on your side job and things, it all adds up.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
that's
I've-
what. Yeah. So.
I've just noticed that so much for myself. Like I track my sleep quite closely with the Oura ring,
Yeah. Nice.
and having the data there, it's just both through experience, like the feeling and the mindset that you're in, whether when you've had a bad sleep and then seeing the data and it's like, oh yeah, okay, it wasn't so good.
Yeah.
But I think what you measure, you manage. So when you keep an eye on it, you can see trends that lead to better sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually create different habits to hopefully improve.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress though.
It is for sure, because you've always got those unknown externals coming into your life, and you have to adapt to them, especially with how Maya, she basically controls our life.
Yes.
On her behaviour and what she chooses to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to adapt to that. And sometimes you just got to push through away.
Yeah.
Even though, because I'm a data man as well, I love seeing it, but sometimes you got to negate it because the life in front of us takes precedence.
That's it. Yeah. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a good reflection of life in general. You know, you've got your ideal situation or your optimized routine or whatever, but you know, you've also got to adjust along the way.
You have to be adaptable.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing that I learned with cancer too, because I was so structured and planned when I was running that I was consumed in an outcome, a specific outcome, which was representing New Zealand and getting a certain time. All of a sudden I got diagnosed with cancer at a young age of 23, leukemia. My world just fell apart. I had to kind of have a whole new plan, and I didn't know how to go about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bit of a saying now: make a plan, but don't fall in love with the plan. And when I was running, I fell in love with that plan. It became my whole identity and my whole worth. But now now I'm adaptable. Things come into my life, okay, I have to go here, this way. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that is partly age, that you can grow that awareness, partly through circumstance. There's some obviously extreme circumstances like yours is a...
Yeah, but I don't know. There's some old people that I do know, and they're still in their habitual routines.
Yeah, true.
And if things change, that's it. No, I'm not doing it. I can't do that.
Freak out.
Yeah, and it's small little things.
Yes.
So, yeah, there is a saying, I think, wisdom doesn't come with age, it comes with experience. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So the more experiences you have in your life, the more adaptable you can become. And I'm a big advocate of travelling and getting out in the world and seeing different cultures and meeting different people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because when you're travelling, things can change so quickly.
Oh, regularly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, as you say, different cultures, different people. It's just so interesting how we can become insular to our immediate environment.
Sure.
Forgetting what the rest of the world's like.
Yep.
I think we're pretty lucky compared to a lot of places around the world.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was in Nepal. I went to Everest Base Camp, and that was a life-changing moment for me. Seeing when I flew in, I hadn't really been anywhere, but I saw these kids playing in the ground with rubbish. You know, some of them were naked, some of them just had their jocks on and that, and they were playing in rubbish, and they look up and give me a smile, and these kids had nothing, but they were still waving to me and wanting to connect.
Wow.
And they were playing in that, and we have all this technology.
I know.
It's ridiculous what we have. It's insane what we can do. However, these kids didn't have much. They were making the best of their situation. And I think it's ultimately what people are trying to do: connect with one another and try and make the best of their situation.
Pretty much.
Hey.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can really relate to that. Spending a bit of time in Mexico.
Oh, not.
They have. Not every Mexican, obviously, but often, you drive by Mexican kids, as you say, no shoes, no clothes, but just like playing, and it's just so refreshing. Sad, but refreshing, it's just like this weird set of emotions that it's like, wow, that's what it is all about. That's what life's all about. But then also, I don't know, like, I feel almost sorry for them, but then I'm also like, maybe they've got it nailed. I don't know.
Well, you get used to the environment you're brought up in, don't you? And that's all you know. I mean, I always admired young kids going through cancer, and I was like, they're so resilient. And then a mum said to me, Josh, they don't know anything else. This is their normal.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that perspective. And that's probably with aging, as you said, we gain different perspectives of how we should live our life. Keeping up with the Joneses, essentially. That guy's got XXX in his backyard. I need that. That's the environment you're in. They're playing in rubbish. What's their comparison?
Yes.
And I think there's a saying, comparison's the thief of joy.
Totally.
Appreciate what we do have, despite where you're from.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you do have. And that's a big thing for me. Whatever situation you're in, there's always good to look for. Mm-hmm. And those kids playing in rubbish in that situation, they saw the good because they were playing with one another. They were having a good time.
Having fun, yeah.
They were having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted to connect with me with their smiles and waving. It was just like, man, oh man, I was so lucky to suffer in that hospital, have treatment, have my mum, do all this cool stuff. And yet I was going to take my life in that situation because I thought my life had been taken away. Perspective.
Yeah. The power of a smile, right?
Yeah.
Go a long way, can't it?
Yeah, man, it's the cue to safety, how we recognise people's facial expressions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you say you were doing a running race?
You've done your homework too. So I'm an ambassador for Ranui House. Ranui House is a place in Christchurch on the corner of Cambridge Terrace, across the road from the hospital. Provides accommodation for rural patients who need long-term treatment. Could be any treatment, doesn't have to be cancer. And I did an event for them, a fundraiser for them, an ice bath challenge last year. We raised some substantial money. It was amazing. And this year, I've teamed up with the front runner Christchurch Marathon. And I put my hand up and said, I'll run 10K. I'll run 10K and see what we can do. Now, I do have a running background, but my body finds it extremely tough to run over 30 minutes. I can jog, that's cool. I didn't think I'd be able to do that anymore. But to run 10K is going to be freaking tough. It's going to be tougher than the ice bath I did last year. So we'll see how we go, but if the mind's willing, the body will continue. So
how's the training been?
It's up and down. Yeah, it's up and down.
Yeah.
I try to be as consistent as possible. I have a really strict morning routine. So if I can't do my training in the evening, at least I've achieved something for the day. But as I say, my wife works during the days. They alternate because she does shift work. So I've got to look after Maya. Oh, yeah. So I can only do so much. I've got a bit of a gym set up in my shed. So I have this workout called Cry It Out. As soon as Maya starts crying, I'll stop my workout. It's time to play. So I'll do my workout as quick as I can, and then I'll drop my weights and then play with her.
Right.
So I call it Cry It Out workout.
Right.
But, where my house is, it's across the road from the gym. So I can shoot over there for a quick sauna in the evening, and Sybil can look after there. But getting out for a run, I find that a bit difficult. I run probably 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. And the longest run I'll do will be a Sunday. And that's today, and that'll be around 30 minutes. And that's when my body starts to lock up a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So is that residual effects from the treatment that you've gone through?
Yes, and a big part of it's this disease that I acquired from having a transplant. I developed graft-versus-host disease, GVHD. So part of that was this thing called scleroderma, which is a thickening of the skin. So my new immune system that I had started to attack my body. And it started specifically to attack my gut, my mouth, my eyes, and my skin. As you can see, my face is a bit pigmented. And I struggle to put on weight because my skin was gluing itself together. So it's become quite tight, very, very tight. There was a time in my life where I really couldn't walk properly. I was really stiff and stuck in my own body. So I was building up an excess amount of collagen because my immune system thought this body is foreign. We need to help it to repair. We need to attack it. So that's the reason why I struggle to run and move and exercise like that. But I'm pretty diligent in getting into the gym and moving my body to get blood flow to help unrestrict my tight body. Yeah, but running's tough.
Yeah. Is there? I'm sure you've tried a number of protocols to work through that and to enhance your wellness.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. This has become my life once I walked into Fifth Element Wellness in Melbourne, trying to reclaim my health again.
Yeah.
Deep tissue massage, myofascial massage, fascia massage, gym, supplements, gut protocols, sauna, ice bath, stretching, light exposure, setting myself up for good sleep, breathing. I'm massive on breathing, breathing techniques at different times of the day, understanding that. Meditation. I always take a time throughout my day to have a meditative practice, and that could be from anywhere from 2 to 20 minutes, just down regulation, understanding the nervous system. So I've adopted this into my life wholeheartedly, and this is my life, trying to optimize my physical self. Why? Not to perform or run fast as I used to, but to be able to play with my daughter, take her swimming today and do that, and not be a sideline dad.
Yeah, I mean, both important, right?
Yeah.
Do you think as technology increases, there'll be additional options? Do you think there'll be other things that you'll be able to experiment with over the next couple of years? Technology's
always changing, and there's so much that can help people. So much, even understanding HRV, the Whoop app, and your Aura ring.
Yeah.
All these to understand where we are getting good sleep. Technology is always improving, and I'm sure there'll be other things that can help me for sure. But I'm a big fan on free, accessible behavioural protocols.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a life where I've been on a sickness benefit and I couldn't afford these things. So I had to adopt these free protocols like breathing, meditation, cold exposure, heat exposure, stuff like that have minimal cost that can help my nervous system.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that type of thing. It is free and accessible.
Yeah.
Everyone can access cold water.
They can.
Right?
We've all got a cold shower.
We can all breathe.
We can all breathe.
We
It's
can
the
all breathe.
first fundamental. I have a top-down pillar of health where it all starts. And for me, my daughter taught me where it all starts. And she was born. The first thing that she wanted to do was breathe. We don't understand how to breathe properly. There is a proper way written up in the scientific literature of how we should breathe in through our nasal cavity. Fundamental. With a slow exhale, we can slow the heart rate down with a slow exhale. Second part, what did my daughter want to do? She wanted to move her body. We're sitting in chairs all the time at office desks, then we go home and watch TV. Third thing that she wanted to do was connect with my wife on the breast. She wanted to connect. Fourth thing she wanted to do was eat nutritious, nutrient-dense food. So they're the 4 fundamental things that I advocate for people, from a top down, from breathing to movement to connection to eating. Focus on those 4 things, and essentially they are for free. They are for free, and your whole well-being will improve.
Love it.
That's what my daughter taught me, because you're always thinking, what comes first? What comes first? We're breathing all the time. We don't understand how to breathe properly. Yeah.
Which is nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This nasal cavity, man, it's our immune system on our face. It's our mask system. It's our mask on our face. It does so much. Helps with vasodilation, immunoregulation. We've got nitric oxide, which we enhance through the concha, for the paranasal sinuses. Help with vasodilation. We have epithelial cells that secrete mucosal membrane that trap pathogenic material, push it back out, and it's all through the nose. But we're all in a highly stress-strung state, with our social media. We're sitting down, our thoracic spine's bent over, we're not utilising our diaphragm, we're breathing through the mouth, and our nervous system's saying, hey, a tiger's coming to eat me. That's how it's responding. And we're in a hyper-vigilant and a hyper-arousal state. We need to down-regulate, and we do that by our breathing. We do that by meditation. We do that with social connection. We do that by eating nutrient-dense food. We do that with movement to down-regulate. It's all about nervous system structure.
Yeah. I love the book Breath
By James Nestor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Yeah, it's a great book. Fantastic book.
Perspective, right? Yeah.
Well, it's just understanding what this mechanism is and what we do have to help our whole well-being. It's understanding, putting the education out there.
Yeah. And I guess that's a great thing now, is that we've got such good accessibility to information.
Yeah, but that's another thing to it. How much information do we consume? Like, there's so much out there. Who's telling what? And what do we pick out?
You just, you think of it like a buffet, right? You think of like, you go into the buffet and you've got options. You've got the high protein, high quality, nutrient dense foods. You got the crap. You sort of pick away at the good bits, I think.
For sure, but then you got the extreme, say like vegans saying, no, you shouldn't be eating that high quality protein. And what's that,
That's true.
You got the people who don't understand macro and micronutrients of what the body's doing. So where do we go?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's probably comes back to the massive thing I'm obsessed with, which is who you spend time with, your environment, the people in your life.
Correct.
And if you're around people that you respect and they're consuming interesting information, you're more likely to do the same. Right?
Oh yeah, what monkey see, what monkey do.
More or less.
And that's the thing, right? Yeah, it's a tough one. Who's telling the truth? And that's what we find today, because there's so much information coming at us.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to food, I'm not demonising vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians or anything. What's the correlation between all these diets? Whole foods.
Well, that's it.
It's whole foods.
Yeah.
Vegetables from the land, meat from the land, just whole foods. Don't eat packaged foods.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm looking at content, I'm looking at what resonates with what everybody's saying. And then I'll take something out. I'll glean some information from that and make it my own.
Yeah, and I think trial and error as well. Like there's so many different philosophies, and the research and the way that they're presented. Some of these documentaries, right? Like the vegan one on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
Whatever it's called, it's it's hugely compelling for the case for being a vegan.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe it's got merit. So I've tried it. So you try it. And if you either enjoy it and you feel good, and you don't, then don't do it.
Yeah. I agree. Totally agree. Trial and error.
Trial and error.
But the correlating theme with food is whole foods, and I'm sure
absolutely.
If you're going from a highly processed diet to going vegan, you're going to feel great.
Yeah.
You're going to feel great. But then if you start to exercise and you're in a highly stressed state, are you getting all your micro and macronutrients? That's the other question you've got to start to ask. Because I went vegan for a long time, felt good for a little bit, then all of a sudden my body went downhill. Yeah, started to deteriorate.
Have you read Ikigai?
No.
It's this Japanese theory or word that, again, about to butcher this, but it's essentially finding something that you love to do, something that the world needs, something that you'll get paid to do. And the book talks about this Japanese island where there's, I think, the most amount of centenarians in the world. It's one of those blue zones.
Okinawa.
I think it might be.
Yeah, they're one of the blue zones.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and it just talks about their diet. It's essentially just whole foods, a little bit of meat, mostly vegetables. That's all they do, right? And it's so simple when you read it. But I guess we're in a society and an environment where there's so much temptation. There's tasty treats everywhere.
Yeah, it's the first thing you see when you enter the supermarket and exit the supermarket.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's there. And it's cheap.
It's cheap. It's accessible.
Yeah.
I was.
It's instant gratification.
I was in a day job, employed role, a couple of years ago, and I was doing one of those 75 hard challenges.
Yeah, can you explain that?
So 75 days, no alcohol. You've got to follow a diet, which you choose the diet.
Yep.
There's nothing prescribed. 2 workouts per day, 45 minutes each. One of them needs to be outside. Take a progress photo and then read 10 pages of a book for 75 days.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was doing that, and I don't really have a huge love of sweet treats, but yet when they're in a workplace and there's like a morning tea room and there's like these delicious looking cakes and cookies and that.
And everyone's putting their hand in there.
Everyone's getting involved. Like, who am I to resist that? Like, that's very tempting.
Yeah.
And, I don't know where I'm going with this, but if I was in control of the environment, if I'm just at home or in my own office, I would just not buy them. Yeah. But if it's in the environment.
Correct. And that's where we're going to be conscious of our choices we make.
Hugely.
Because we're driven by our unconscious. Yeah. We make unconscious decisions all the time without even thinking.
Yeah.
You're looking around, everyone else is doing it, I better do it. Look like I'll fit in.
Creatures of habit, Yeah, it's so interesting. I was at, it's like sponsored by the local West Coast hospitality scene, but I was at Monteith's last night.
Yes.
Good local establishment.
Yeah.
And just looking around and just how like so many people kind of look the same, like in groups. Like they're all very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting observation.
It's just interesting, yeah. And it's whether it's cause and effect, like whether it's they've become in a group because they're similar or because they've hung around in a group, they become similar. But I don't know, it's just interesting.
Yeah, I think
so similar. And the regard for the clothing and like the body language, the stories they were telling, it was just like exact mirrors of each other.
That's group identity, eh?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all kind of conform into a group to make ourselves feel good and validate ideas, and then we copy one another within that group. And that's where I kind of advocate that autonomy of the individual, because it's so easy to look from the external and see what everyone else is doing and follow that. But as you said, what was the Japanese frame?
The Ikigai.
The Ikigai. It's exactly that. The Ikigai, there's something within us that the world needs, and it's finding that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that identity thing's huge. It's massive, and I fell into that when I was running that group identity in the running. Made some fantastic friends, and it served a wonderful purpose.
Yes. But
still I was negating some values and ethics and morals within myself where I needed to direct that. Yeah,
that was your identity. That was like who you.
And you do. You wear your running clothes. You hang around with runners. You know, that's where you associate yourself, and you would see that walking in. Oh, there's the running group. Oh, there's the rugby boys over there. You know,
Yeah.
But we've all got something in common, man. We're all going through something.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's why the sauna's interesting, because there's no label, right? You're just in there nude, more or less.
Yeah.
Jocks on, and that's who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no definition of what you do for a job. Like there's no like sporting thing, you know, like you're just in there as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So you strip down to the
just
essence
turning up
of who
as
you
David
are.
Mells and Josh Komen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who are you? But yeah,
Fascinating.
I love it.
Mate, so good. Anything else?
What about you? What's your intention for the year?
Oh, I've got a few
Where's the
goals.
direction?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a few specific goals that I'm working toward around work and a couple of fitness related ones. So
Mhm.
aiming to put on some muscle mass, which is something that I've been working on for
Oh,
last.
you're looking pretty strong.
Oh, thank you, mate. I've been trying hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like with goals, if you have it defined, I think you're just a lot easier to hit it if you're constantly paying attention to it. Then the actions tend to fall around that.
Mhm.
But yeah, got a trip to Thailand planned. That's pretty
Nice.
exciting.
Yeah.
So Thailand in May.
Is that a getaway or a business trip? Or
It is a getaway. I was going to try and say I had a business thing over there, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
No, it's just a social trip. Emily's
nice.
got some family over there, which will be really cool to go and
Yeah, what part?
see them. We will fly into Bangkok, and I think they're on the outskirts of Bangkok somewhere.
Yeah, nice.
So I haven't actually been there before.
Yeah.
Just transited through the airport, which really doesn't count.
Thailand's an interesting place. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks great.
The beaches are beautiful.
Oh, looks
Yeah,
amazing.
Food's amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. So that'll be the major trip of the year. And what else have I got going on? I'd like to do a bit more travelling within New Zealand. So
Nice.
coast trips are always something on the agenda.
Yeah. You hear quite a lot though.
Quite a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 3 hours away. And
Yeah.
yeah. Nice and easy to get to.
Yeah.
Always good to see Dad.
How's your daughter?
Good. Yeah, she's coming up 12
Really?
soon. So
What's been the biggest learnings about watching her develop and grow?
probably what we were saying about the environment and who she's hanging out with.
Mm.
I think the other thing would be the way that kids communicate. They don't tend to have a filter,
Yeah, right.
which I really have paid attention to. And if they don't like something, they're very quick to react. Whereas sometimes I think adults, we can process things differently.
Yeah.
And say something to fit in, or just not beat around the bush. Or I find that kids communicate a bit more directly.
Yeah, my daughter, she's only 18 months, so she's communicating with either crying or pointing
Crying or pointing,
or laughing.
Crying, the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
So it's been hugely interesting. But last year of intermediate / primary, and then off to high school. So
Oh, big step.
yeah, big step.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a big step, going from primary school to high school. Because you went to Kororo and then you went to Christchurch.
Intermediate.
Intermediate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to
Yeah.
Christchurch. How did you find the change from going from the coast to at that young age? Because it has such an impact on your adulthood too.
I think it messed me up a little bit. I think being outside of your home environment and being in an environment with peers and supervisors, like I don't know, maybe you never know the alternative
Sure.
in a situation like that. But if I look back on it and reflect, I would question how healthy it was. Like I don't think I really adjusted super well for the first year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Met some amazing people, and the school I went to was great. But I don't know if I'd do that again if the option was there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Something
it's
different.
hindsight, right?
Yeah, hindsight's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
We all make changes from the situations we're in, and part of that too is the development of who you are as well. Yeah, we've all gone through different journeys. My dad grew up in an orphanage, and that still has an impact on him today.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's still made the best of his situations from what he went through. One of the worst childhoods I've ever heard of.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you can see the impact that orphanage has still had on my dad. When I was growing up, he always had to have the hall light on to keep the light on.
Right.
So he used to get locked in a cupboard and beaten and things like that in the dark. And so it's quite amazing to see what people go through in their schooling or whatever, but yet they make choices and changes throughout their adulthood. Yeah, to be the best they can be. And credit to my dad, he's come a long way from where he was. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
However, those little things still linger, don't they?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, even just that whole thing about being separated from your primary caregiver, and males mature later than females as well, and you just wonder if it's like done. I guess it could be a blessing and a curse, so you don't really know, do you?
You don't know.
No.
It's just the situation you're in. What can we do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting now with medicine getting to the age where, because I don't know about you, but I can't really remember that much before, say, Form 1 or 2. Like,
Okay.
I can remember primary school in bits and pieces, but not really,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas now there's like conscious awareness, like there's actually, like I can remember when I was her age.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is an interesting phase that we're coming into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put yourself back in her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 And I think growing up on the coast, the childhood I had was probably quite different than what she's about to have. Meaning, when I was her age, like going adventuring in the bush, riding the bike into town, right, with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Just so much different.
Yeah. It was
Just loose.
complete freedom around the coast, wasn't it?
Complete freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lucky.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
be home at this time or get home for dinner.
Yeah.
Sweet as.
Yeah. Well, I remember just, growing up in like Rutherglen there, we'd go just like go take a tent and go and like stay in the bush overnight.
Yeah.
And that was Form 1 and 2.
Hmm.
I cannot imagine Madison doing that
Yeah, true.
at all.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
not right or wrong, just is.
Just is, yeah, this is your environment. Let's see what we can do with it.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's the local social scene like for people in our sort of approximate age range?
Well, for me, it's the sauna.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard because I don't go to the pub or anything like that. I'm at work, and in the evenings I'm either studying or setting up stuff for the next day. The sauna is my social hub.
Yeah.
I coach kids
Oh, yeah.
down there, so they give me a bit of an insight of what's going around
Oh, yeah.
around the
Cool.
traps.
Yeah.
Running. I coach running there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go to the pub, obviously. That's the dwelling where people go to connect. I come to work, I meet people here. I do workshops, I meet people there. I do talks, I meet people there. So
Yeah.
around here, it's just the pub, and for me, it's the sauna. The sauna's growing. A lot of people go to the sauna now,
Is that
which
right?
is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have an ice bath at home, which people can come and use, and they utilise that and pop around. So
Yeah. Cool.
it's just creating your environment. If people want to be involved,
Your own circle. Yeah.
you're in the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when Hadley lived over here, he was able to meet a few like-minded people, and there's still 10,000 people here, so there's still quite a few people.
12, 13,000. But there's heaps of sporting clubs and
Yeah, totally.
heaps of events that are on, and people get out together and go for runs, for walks, training together and things like that. So
Yeah,
there are places to connect through different groups.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, as you say, like getting out and doing more events, like you meet people, and that leads to other connections, and it's sort of like that rolling stone momentum type thing, right?
Yeah.
The more conversations, the more.
Yeah, just open up and have a chat.
Totally.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, well, should we wrap it up?
Sure. Thank you,
Anything
David.
else? Final words?
Keep breathing.
Keep breathing.
Keep breathing, people.
Read the book.
Grab a book, go down to DP1, have a copy and grab the book. Come over to the coast for a look around. It's a beautiful place.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. Get out on that Paparoa track.
Oof, so
Walk over
good.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the coast is going to expand sometime soon?
I think so. I think so. There's a bit of development going around.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, town's starting to build a few new buildings, and I think a lot of people are selling up from the North Island, buying lifestyle blocks here and bringing in different ideas. So
Yeah.
it's an untapped gem, I think.
Massively
Yeah,
so.
untapped
Right?
gem.
Yeah.
I've just recently got a new workmate from Napier, and he's gone from gunshots from gangs, from hearing morporks at night and letting his daughter walk outside and not locking up his car and things. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are understanding it doesn't rain as much as what they perceive on the
No.
Weather Channel.
No.
It's a beautiful place,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw on your story that place in Nelson Creek.
Oh yeah, Tiaka Treehouse.
Yeah. That looks cool.
I'm going to give them a push. We stayed out
Well,
there
let's
last
promote
night.
them on here.
Tiaka Treehouse by Dave and Lisa North. Dave North was actually the founder of Nelson Creek Skateboards.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Nelson Creek Skateboards?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, established in '98, worked 2019, and being a coast kid, you had to have a Nelson Creek skateboard. So they were international too. Now they've developed this treehouse, this beautiful, luxurious place in the majestic West Coast bush, and their deck is right outside this massive matai tree. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about 50 meters high. So you got all the luxuries and comfort of a normal home, but you got the feel of living in a camping setting right in the dense bush.
Yeah, wow.
And it was stunning. They gave us a tour around their property and went down into the old miners' caves. And, yep. So if you're looking for an excursion, a getaway, Te Aka Treehouse outside of Nelson Creek. Beautiful swimming holes and great hosts with Lisa and Dave.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Are they do you remember that old half pipe that used to be in Nelson Creek?
Yeah, man.
Is that them?
That's them.
Yeah.
Dave North.
Yeah. I broke my tailbone on that
Did
ramp.
Yeah, it's steep vert, man.
The pain for that, I mean, you've had pain, but this was probably worse.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's all subjective, man.
It was pretty bad. And there's not much you can do about it either, right?
No, but that ramp was rad, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Yeah, really
real
aggressive.
coast style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dave North has built all the majority of the skate parks around the South Island.
Yeah, right.
So he's gone from skateboards, skate parks to treehouse.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
How good.
Yeah.
Is that one in Punakaiki as well? Have you seen that? The Biv?
No.
Biv Punakaiki?
No, I haven't
Similar
seen
style, similar vibe.
Right.
Middle of the bush.
Yeah.
Beautiful design.
Have you stayed there?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No, I've just seen it because I was looking at doing something similar on the property I've got, but it got too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The consent process to get these things done is quite tedious.
Yeah. Just everything, right? Like, how do you make it viable? How do you operate it? How do you run it? You know, like it's a full-on commitment. I don't think it's something that you can dabble in.
Yeah, well, they live on the land, so that's their commitment now.
Exactly.
I've got the land. I've got a house up there. So.
Yes.
And Lisa makes these amazing bagels in the morning.
Ooh.
All homemade.
Really?
Everything's homemade. They really look after you.
Wow.
Yeah.
How good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's going to be more and more stuff like that develop on the coast in time. Like, I even noticed in Jackson's yesterday, there's a whole bunch of little cabins as well.
Yeah, the campground there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was up there not long ago, and they're clearing out a bit of land to establish more cabins. And there's so many awesome walks and tramps around here, and there's so much to venture, and there's so much history here as well.
Yeah.
And there's heaps of little anecdotal stories about this specific piece of land.
Yeah.
Which is really fascinating.
It is,
the
right?
mining history and even Chinese miners that came out in the early 1800s to develop Nelson Creek area and what they did with their pickaxe and shovel. It's incredible.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the land I've got in Rutherglen, it's got old tailings from back then.
That was a mining area too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just nuts.
Yeah.
Totally nuts.
So get over to the coast, Te Aka Treehouse, have a look around.
Have a go there. Yeah, I mean, over Christmas, New Year's, we stayed here for 10 days. Just did day trips around and did a bunch of walks and it's just had a great time. Yeah. Totally underrated. Yeah. So I think in time, my predictions in the next 10 to 15-ish years, it's going to see some significant changes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
I think there's going to be a boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So exciting times.
Yeah, that cycle trail has been great for the coast too.
It's so good, right?
It's really good.
For
down the coastline, out through the bush, through Canary.
Yeah. Have you seen that track they're building around Lake Brunner? Yep.
My friend's actually doing a bit of work. Brendan Cole, he's doing a bit of work on that, extending the track around to Mitchell's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just followed them on Instagram. It looks cool. Yeah, man. Is it almost done, or?
I think they're nearly done.
Yeah.
A few more K to go.
Yeah, nice. Do you spend much time up at Westport?
I've got a good friend up there, Silas and Allison. He's the physio up there.
Oh yeah.
No, not too much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I quite like it there.
It's not too bad.
It's quite a different experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
To Greymouth.
Yeah. Going north to Karamea is beautiful, eh?
Oh, amazing. That's
the coast is so vast and diverse.
It's massive, right?
Yeah. People really don't understand how big the West Coast is.
Yeah. From I haven't been down to the bottom lately, like down Haast area.
Oh yeah.
You been down there recently?
Yeah. Well, with my job, I get to travel all around the West Coast where all the power lines go.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I spend a bit of time down Haast working down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
remote
mission
area.
down there, isn't
It's
it?
a mission down there. Big sandflies.
Oof,
Bring your repellent.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're into your fishing and hunting and things, it's a hunter's dream.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to that hop hole down in Franz Josef?
No, haven't been there. Spent a bit of time in France.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed up on the glacier, actually. There's a hut up there called
Right.
Alma Hut, I'm pretty sure. Alma Hut? I'm going to have to check that. But it's right on the glacier. So if anyone's down Franz Josef area, get a flight, helicopter flight, onto the glacier to Alma Hut. Got to double check that, or Chancellor Hut. It's one or the other.
Right.
It's right on the glacier, and it was absolutely amazing. My wife and I stayed up there with our good friend Ruth Croft and Martin Gafuri,
Oh, wow.
and you hear the glacier cracking and the nights.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the stars are out, and it was a clear sky. It was one of the best places apart from Te Aka Treehouse that I've stayed at.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is it a dock hut or is it?
It's a dock hut,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it was originally put up there in the 1930s, and they used to ski up there. Skiers went up there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, and they used to ski
Ah.
up on the glacier.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Man, there is so much good stuff here.
There's so much good stuff hidden away, and it's not really advertised.
Mm.
And that's probably the hardest thing, is getting that advertisement out there. But there's so much here. You know, people pass through Greymouth, they go down to Hokitika, stay down there. But you could stay here for a week or 2 weeks and do so many different small day adventures. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went up to that, what's it called? You know that mining ruin up near Charleston? No. Granity?
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Stockton.
No, the other
Oh,
one further
Denniston.
north. Denniston, yeah.
That's pretty cool, eh?
That's amazing.
Yeah. You see the incline?
Yeah.
Where they took the coal out?
Yeah, and all the history and information. around.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
What they accomplished up there.
Oh,
There's a great book called The Denniston Rose.
oh yeah.
If anyone wants to read that book, and it gives you a really good idea of what the life was like up there. I read that when I was a kid, and I read it again recently. Yeah, Denniston Rose. Check that out to understand the hardships and what entailed up on that plateau.
Man, it's just like such an unexplainable feeling up there, like reading the information, and it's like you can sense what it was like, right?
Mm.
Like it's just an eerie feeling.
Yeah, when that mist was up there, they didn't see daylight for weeks, for months. Yeah,
Oh, fuck. Just
tough.
bred differently, right? Same as Big River in Waiuta.
Oh yeah,
You been up there?
yeah, I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Similar, just that. We went there on quite a good day, so it was quite cool, like walking around the remains and seeing like the old swimming pool site, and seeing the pictures of the kids like playing and stuff. It's crazy,
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
yeah,
And there's hundreds of people live there.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't small.
Well, even like I was at Nelson Creek, and they said over 2,000 people used to be out there in the late 1800s.
Really?
Over 2,000 people out there mining.
Wow,
Yeah,
crazy. So much good stuff.
yeah.
Should do the West Coast
West Coast tour.
ambassador. yeah.
Yeah, Coast Ambassador. Yeah, I love the coast.
As do I.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't get enough of it. I just think that there's got to be something happen for people to realise, like, I don't know what it is, whether it's like a major infrastructure type project or something, but something, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, something to draw people here with
draw card.
good jobs. But I think COVID kind of hit home for people, especially trapped up in Auckland, where they were locked up for a long time. They could come down to the coast, and far out, we still had quite a bit of freedom. We could get out on our bike and bike around and do things. So that's the conversations that I've had with people who have sold up and came down here. Post-COVID, they're like, no, we need to get out of the city.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is there much technology around here? Like any tech companies or any like...
Yeah, see, I'm not too sure, but that's a good point, because I've got a friend at Development West Coast, and I think there's a lot of tech companies that do a lot of stuff overseas that are based in Westport.
That's what I've heard,
Yeah, in Westport. But I couldn't tell you their names, but I don't think they're doing national work. I think they're doing international work.
Exactly.
Just home online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheap cost of living.
Cheap cost of living, yeah.
It's decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come down the coast. Average housing price is about 380,
Yeah.
380,000. 3.5 bedroom.
I know.
700 square meters section.
Oh, it's not. I did a drive-by past one last night, right, on Lydia Street. 1,000 square meter section, house, 3-bedroom, 339.
Oh, yeah. That would be right.
Classic.
Yeah.
So good. What about development West Coast? Do you have much to do with them?
Oh, no, not too much. I did a bit of a course through them this year, but my friend Aaron, he's the marketing guy there.
Oh, yeah.
I met him in the sauna. I've known Aaron for a few years now. He's a great guy, so he does all the marketing for the West Coast.
Yeah, cool.
Campaigns for the coast, but that's about all I know about development West Coast. But yeah, they're investing in a lot of things around the coast and helping out a lot of businesses.
Yeah, it's a pretty big fund they've got, right?
They do.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure the extent of the fund, but they do a lot of good things.
Yeah. I think it's a good 100 mil or something, couple of 100 mil. It's pretty big. But yeah. You been to the new attractions?
Not yet. No, I haven't. Have you been?
No.
I've got to go check that out.
Yeah. Nice building.
Yeah, I had a friend. My friend Ruth went. And she enjoyed it. So
cool.
I'm going to have to go check that out.
Got it, mate.
Yeah.
Can't be a coaster if you haven't checked out everything.
Just the sauna, bro.
Just the sauna. Yeah. Very good, my friend. Well,
right.
I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Always good catching up with you.
Likewise, David. It's great to sit down and have a chat, mate.
Always good.
Yeah.
And now it's immortalised on the internet, on the podcast.
First one with videos.
First one with videos, yeah. So let's get this edited. It's got the books here. If anyone wants to read a book, I've got copies, or buy them online. As long as you read it, right? That's the main thing.
Have a read, see what you think.
Come to one of Josh's events. They're pretty regular, right?
Yeah, I've got one here in Greymouth soon. It's more so through gyms and places that contact me. We want to run a wellness workshop, a stress management workshop. Cool, we'll get involved. I do some in O Studio in Christchurch. So, we'll see how the year pans out.
Yeah.
If you want to get in touch, make contact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll put your website below in the notes. And as I say, I appreciate you.
Likewise, David.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, keep living your life.
See you next time.
See you, bro.